You always point to the imaginary balcony. It's the people in the cheap seats that make it all worthwhile. Good to see him, man. Yeah, no, I had to get my stuff on tape, right? Just before the hair leaves completely. It's the last stand. I got like a circle right here. It looks good because I'll whip it over. Woo, little comb over starter kit, right? Woo, woo. Go out into the street, wind hits it, it just opens like a car hood. Like, there's no dignity in it. Because you gotta grab it like, oh no, my secret. And you go, hide out while the storm passes. Oh, God, I got dragged to a club a little while ago. Anybody here over 35? You go to a club? Yeah! Oh, that's fun, isn't it? Go to a club. Just walk in there, you feel so creepy. You feel like you're a Chuck E. Cheese. You're like, oh, whoops. Oopsie. Oh my God, I went to a club a little while ago and I realized I have dad brain. I don't have kids. Why do I have dad brain? You know what I mean? You know what dad brain? Like I see these young girls in their miniskirts. I used to be like, oh, she's so hot. And now I'm like, she's gonna freeze to death. You know? I'm not even nervous talking to these young girls anymore. Because I'm just like, just keep some sweatpants in the trunk of your car. They don't weigh anything, so it won't affect your gas mileage. I know they're hot. I still am attracted to them, but now I'm like, oh, I want to take that girl home and fix her bike. Like I have weird... I don't want to creep out these young kids. So what do? You just stand in the corner, right? With your drink. Wouldn't want to look creepy. I'll just... Soon, my pretties. You know. There's no dignity in getting older at all. Like, I had to go across the dance floor to get another beer. I ran out of beer. And I got caught on the dance floor because the popular song came on. All these chicks, just walls of chicks, right? And I'm sneaking through, just trying not to creep them out. I'm just looking for my daughter. Like I'm lying, saying anything. You know? But then I hit a wall of chicks. Like now I'm like in a wall, like nobody can move. Oh. And then I look up, some asshole had put an oscillating fan in the ceiling. Yeah, so it comes around, I'm like, oh, hits my hair, wow, straight up and down. My arms, I can't even grab it, right? I'm just, All I can do is look up at the mirror, and it's like a sea of hot chicks and just dorsal fin on pervert shark. Just, dang it. Oh, God. It's so bad for your self-esteem when you get close to a young girl and she covers her drink and walks away. That really feels horrible. But I was there. I got dragged there by my opener. I go back. I got my beer, finally. Go back to the table. He's not there. He's gone now. Just the girl he's talking to, right? And she's like 23 years old. And I have nothing in common with this chick. I don't know what to say to her. She goes, this is a pretty cool club, huh? And what did I think was interesting? I go, you know, this club used to be a bank. Oh, yeah. But the tellers were over there and the vault was over there. And before it was a bank, it was all trees. For the West had yet to be settled. If you have somebody, stay in the relationship. I don't care if you hate the person, just ride it out. What do you got, 30 years left? Don't be a hero. You don't even get a girlfriend anymore. You just get a pen pal. That's it. Little ferret stenographer. Pick the phone up. Can we just talk? We evolved to talk. Just speak English. Why did technology get better and then we went back to telegrams? Why are we sending telegrams to each other? That girl sends you emojis. Emojis! Now we're back to hieroglyphics. Now we're farther back in time. Great. Why don't you use your vape pen to send me a smoke signal or some shit? I was on Tinder for a while, and I realized, oh, you're 39. John, you're on Tinder. It's like a human clearance rack at this point. It's a lot of irregulars. Everybody's got their pictures. Everybody's got their pictures, right? I saw a girls' Tinder one time, or what guys put as their pictures. They're always carrying a fish, holding a fish. How fucking archaic is that? I got fish. Are you hungry? I could catch more fish. Girl, what's a girl always doing in her picture? She's always on vacation. I love to travel. Bring your fish, we'll go traveling. She's always touching the top of the Eiffel Tower, too. You chicks keep taking that damn picture, and it sucks. It's not funny. Nobody believes you're that tall. We know it's camera tricks. And if it does fool a guy, you don't want to date that guy because he's an idiot. I would date this girl, but she's fucking massive. She's so big. I'm gonna need more fish. You gotta take pictures of everything now. Then you go out with younger girls. They've had social media for a long time, so their pictures go way far back in their life. One picture's just her dad's balls, like, oh, that's where I used to live. Oh, great. It's horrible. And the shit is that now you've creeped all their pictures. You know a ton about this person before your first date. So you can't even have a real kind of first date. It's not honest, right? Because you know about her life. It's bad. She's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, who was that guy you were on the beach with in 2008? Did you fuck him? Did you fuck him? Is that an icebreaker? You don't even need to talk to anybody. Like, why? They don't have any information you can't get on your own. We're all slaves to Google. They're gonna start charging us for it too, soon, I bet. Right? Once they close the last library. That's why I use Bing. Use Bing. It's just as good as Google. Just takes a little bit longer because you gotta wait for Bing to Google it, but it's really good. It's good. We're that generation, you know, where we were around before the internet. People that are like old, like born before cars. That's cool. They got stories, pre-car stories. About the train or their horse. You ever talk to an old person? I used to have a horse named Clip-Clop. That shit is fascinating. Keep talking, my wrinkle bag of fun, right? Nobody's gonna want to talk to us when we're old and gray because like pre-internet stories are boring as shit. Nobody's running up to their great-grandfather like, Papa, tell us again about phone books. Was the library a real place, Papa? Is that where you kept your apps? You're like, oh, we didn't have apps. You didn't have apps. You didn't have Candy Crush. How did you take shits? You didn't have Tinder. How did you meet great-grandma? I just walked up to her and asked her name. But that's illegal. I don't know. Like, why even get together anymore? Why do people get married? Used to, like, one sex was really good at something, the other sex was really good at something back in the day. Now everybody does everything kind of shitty. It's hilarious. Everybody breaks up because, like, who needs the other person, right? Back in the 50s and shit, they needed each other, right? Because they couldn't do stuff. Like the woman couldn't pay the rent or the utilities. The man couldn't do the laundry or the cooking. Like they had to stay together, right? Oh, those marriages were strong. The people were miserable, but the marriage was strong. And he'd just hide in the garage the whole time, and she'd just go in the kitchen making him bacon, hoping he'd die right away. What's for dinner? Bacon-wrapped cigarettes again. And then somebody else comes up to you. They go, my grandma died, and then my grandpa died a week later of a broken heart. And I'm like, he didn't die of a broken heart. The motherfucker starved to death. His looks over her bed like, where do we keep the bacon? Where is the bacon? She's like, we keep the bacon in the... See you in a week, bitch. Oh. So romantic. This is weird, girl. Like, women have to be super hot all the time. It's like, you don't, you know? I'm worried about the next generation coming up. They feel like they have to be sexy all the time. I was like at a restaurant. I heard this girl talking to her friend. She says to her friend, she goes, I like giving head, because when I give head, I know I'm in charge. And I wanted to be like, that's the opposite of true. You know, it's not how you tell who's in charge. You don't go to a business. Excuse me, I have a complaint. Is the boss here? Oh, you there with a cock in your mouth. You think like you're in charge? When you're done reprimanding that employee, would you come help me out? She's firm, but she's fair, I'll tell you. Like, it's a weird time we live in. You can ask a woman if she cooks. Like, oh, do you cook? She'll be like, oh, why? Because I'm a woman, I gotta do the cooking. You're like, sorry, no. You just like a good cock? She'll be like, oh, yeah, it's like a good cock. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you with that whole cooking question. That was really insensitive. I don't care who cooks, like somebody, though. Somebody do it. I cook. I like cooking. I use cooking to make up for my sexual shortcomings. Food is the only thing I can stick at a woman to make her happy. The only way I could tear up a girl's ass is if I use too much cayenne pepper. That's great. Like, so if you have those skills, then you're age-proof. Doesn't matter how old you get, right? Women are getting vaginal rejuvenation now with lasers. Tightening up their hoo-ha, right? Guess it gives them confidence. Now, I've had 5 kids, but thanks to lasers, my coos are so tight I can crimp rebar. I feed it gravel to keep it mean. It's great. The world's wonderful. Old grannies now, like, what are grannies gonna be like in the future? Granny broke her hip. Will she ever be able to twerk again? I just like to keep her off the pole for observation for a couple of weeks. Grandmas now don't need vaginal rejuvenation. They cook. They're like, yeah, my pussy's loose, but my meatloaf is tight. And then the girls that don't do anything else, they gotta be super sexy. This hyper sexy that there is now that's so gross, right? The fucking girls is like the blown out lips, tattoos, like porn stars, fake boobs. The boobs that are tight. Have you seen those ones that are like, looks painful? Oh, that's hot, isn't it? You look, she'd be a great mother, I always think. She could be a mother, she'd breastfeed the kid, the PSI would cut the kid's head in half like a goddamn grapefruit, you know? Don't try to look like porn stars, like stop it. Stop it with this. It's horrible. No guy wants porn in his real life. It's a fantasy. It's for inside the computer. That's why it has to be so crazy, because it gotta jump off the screen, right? You don't want porn in your real life. It'd be horrifying. The guy wants to come home from work, his wife's in the kitchen blowing 9 black eyes. Happy birthday, I didn't know what to get you, so I looked at your internet history. Why are you crying? It's your favorite. What do you... Right? The lips. Stop with the lips. Oh my God, you look like a duck. Have you seen those chicks? Am I sexy? Yeah, for waterfowl, pretty sexy. I have a friend who did this. She's like 27. Now she looks like a duck. I'm supposed to just sit there? Not bring it up? I had a couple beers, I brought it up. Fuck it. I felt bad. I was like, sweetie, you're so beautiful. Like, why did you feel the need to do that? And she got really sad, and she was like, and I think they went too deep. I think they really went too deep. Leave your bodies alone. We love them. You don't need to decorate them, too. We're just getting tattoos now. Can we stop this tattoo bullshit? We used to just be the tough people. It used to be the outlaws, right? The bikers and the musicians. Now you get a sleeve tattoo and you bundle with AT&T. Everybody's got them. Have you seen the guys with the teardrop tattoo? Seen that? You know what that means, right? That means he went to jail and it made him sad. He's like, is the food always like this? Oh, capture the moment. Girls have little tricky tattoos, right? Little secret ones. Oh, they hide them, right? Behind the ear, behind the hairline, on the ankle. Ooh, collect them all, right? Goddamn. Sometimes you see the girls, like, she got like lines and paragraphs on her rib cage. See her naked for the first time, you're like, oh, I better read her instructions. I wouldn't want to avoid her warranty. And then they don't realize they got a conversation piece on their body now. Starts a conversation about your tattoo, right? Saw a girl, she had a musical note behind her ear. So I thought, ooh, I got a conversation for her, right? A little drunk, walk over. Are you a musician? She's like, no, I just like music. I was all indignant. Oh, sorry, princess. Aren't you unique? Most people hate music. Most people are like, what's this noise making my foot tap? Oh, turn it off. Whatever it is. It's like, why don't you get a tattoo of food next to your mouth, you fucking yuts? Women get a lot of these tattoos now, like little motivational quotes, little phrases, you know, just like little pick-me-ups. Just, you know, just decorating their body like it's their cubicle at work, you know. Seen this girl for a while. She had a tattoo that said, strength comes from within. Strength comes from within. And I was like, why did you get that? She's like, shut up, John, you're such an asshole. It's for me. It's my tattoo, it's for me. And I'm like, it's on your back. I'm pretty sure that's for me. Right? She can't even check that, though. She, you know, forgets where strength comes from. It's on her back. She can't be like, I wrote it down here somewhere. Right? It's crazy. You don't need any writing on your back, ladies. No guys who wanted a fucking fortune cookie before. It's not a common fantasy. The guy's back there like, oh, strength comes from within. Wow. What'd you get? Oh. Flip her over. My lucky numbers are 14, 25, 6. How was your date with Tanya? Did you get laid? Yeah, but more than that, I like to think I learned something. She was a good read. Have you ever thought about those stupid little instructions for how to live a better life? They've never been tried, they've never been tested, right? Dance like no one's watching. It's like, no, don't, you're ruining the wedding. Stop that. People are watching you. It's all this like sing like no one's listening. It's all about, who cares about everybody else? It's all about you. Like what's next? Like drive like you're the only car on the road. Teaching people how to be dicks. You know what I mean? This YOLO culture. You only live once. It's like, yeah, so does everybody else. Be considerate, you fucking asshole. But you never hear that because it's too many words for a tampon wrapper. You gotta keep it to the point. I do got this. I'm so sorry, sweetie. The purse is on the lap. That's never a good sign. I don't know. I just think we're raising a generation that's not the greatest, you know? Like, what are they learning? Who cares what everybody else thinks of you? And then what else they say? Live every day like it's your last, right? Live every day. Don't. Because if you don't die the next day, you're fucked if you do that. You always say that, though. Don't you have one of those friends that comes, just do whatever you want, man. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You could get hit by a bus. You could get hit by a bus. And I'm like, I'm 39 years old. I look both ways when I cross the street. The bus is the largest, loudest, slowest vehicle on the road. There's actually a list of where it's gonna be and when it's gonna stop. I don't know, I just feel like we're raising a generation that's gonna grow up and they're gonna be learning all this wisdom from the internet that makes them dicks. You know, who cares about what happens tomorrow and who cares about other people? That's what criminals think like. They're gonna be in front of a judge and they're just gonna use internet wisdom as their defense, right? The judge is like, why did you rob the bank? And he's like, well, you're supposed to do something every day that scares you. Do you have any remorse for your actions? Well, you only regret the things in life that you don't do, Your Honor. I'm like, I can't release you back into society. Well, if society can't handle me at my worst, they don't deserve me at my best, Your Honor. Yeah, I don't know if I want to have kids. This is sometimes I worry about raising them wrong because I'm a little cuckoo, right? A little nutty. And then I hang out with my mom and I realize, oh, it doesn't matter how nutty you are because by the time your kid figures out it's all your fault. You're now old and cute. Ooh. My mom just like, I'm like, it's all your fault. You raised me wrong. And she's like, I keep my shoes in the fridge now. I'm like, oh, she got away with it, you know? Now she just tells me all the ways she fucked me up growing up. She doesn't even care. She's like, I used to shake you to dry you off. Babies like it. And now you're the parent, right? You're the parent now, and I didn't sign up for that shit. My mother is like asking for stuff, like a kid would ask for toys. My mother the other day, she goes, John, when I die, I don't want to be cremated. I want to be buried in a cemetery. And I took the power back. I was like, if you're good. We'll see how you act until you're dead. And she's like, that always means no. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have kids. I kind of wanted to. Probably have to get a girlfriend or a wife or something like that first, but I had nieces. Came along, and they're like, oh my God, they're so cute. I want a kid so bad. When I hung out with my niece, she's so beautiful. I was convinced. I'm like, I'm ready to have my own kid. She's so cute, she's so beautiful. Then I took her to the aquarium, and I was like, oh no, fuck, I want an otter. Oh, it's just over in a second. I don't even know how she got home. I was with the otters till closing. It's bad though. It's like I'm not mature enough to have a kid. At my little niece's like third birthday party, I snapped at her because she spilled tea on me. I just reacted. She spilled tea on me. I was like, fuck, right in her face. She got all sad. She's like crying. Ah. All I felt was my sister grabbed me, pulled me out in the hallway, throws me against the wall. She's like, John, are you kidding me? You're a 39-year-old man. She's a 3-year-old girl. It was imaginary tea. Everybody names their girls boys' names now. And that's a risk. You don't know if she's going to grow up and be hot, right? You got to be hot as a girl. Have a boy's name. Don't name a girl Bobby. She might grow up and look like Bobby. Right? I don't know. And everybody's naming their kids like cool names. Like your kids got to be cool, you know? You know, they name the kids cool names. And now they're old enough that I'm meeting these kids with these cool names, and some of them aren't that cool. Like I went to a dinner party, I met a guy, his name was Dash. He's like, yeah, I'm Dash. And he was like fat. He's a fat guy. You can't be a fat Dash. Fuck it. If your name's Dash, you better run everywhere. Like, my name's Dash. And just run. Hair blown back. But I was trying to be less of a dick, so I was like, oh, hey, Dash, is there a Mrs. Dash? You know? Sucky is a shitty joke, I know. He's just trying to fucking break the ice. And he goes, what? Because he thinks I'm like hitting on him or something. Like, what's your name? Are you married? Right? Now I look gay because your parents named her after an approximate cooking measurement. What's your brother's name? Quarter cup? Fuck you, Dash. Oh my God, I don't know what to do with them, right? I took my niece to the park. This kid comes up to me. His name's Jackson. He's just like frantic, high strung. Everything's just like a bomb going off. I'm like, relax, you little fucker, right? It's a park. If you're like this at a park, what are you gonna be like at your job, right? When you grow up. It sucks. Jackson. Jackson's a cool name. So now he's ruined that name. You see the danger? Name your kid a cool name, he's not cool. You ruined that name. I used to think of Jackson as like the black dude you meet in Vietnam movies and you're like sitting in a foxhole. You're like, hey, Jackson, you're my best friend, right? He's looking out for you. Try to buy a hooker in Da Nang. He just leans back, lifts up her dress with his machete. Those are balls. That's a dude. And you're like, thanks, Jackson. Yeah, you're my best friend. Now I just think of this spaz at my park. He sucks. He fake cries all the time. Oh, I hate him. I'm not mature enough to have a kid if I can hate a 4-year-old, right? He's got no boundaries. He runs up to me. I'm in the sandbox trying to get away from everything. He's trying to grab at my phone. He wants my phone. Like there's games in it or something like that. I'm polite. I'm like, oh, no. He starts fake crying. That's how he fake cries. It sucks. There's no tears. He can't act worth a shit. It's all just head pressure. And I'm directing him like, yeah, cry harder, man. Do it. Give yourself an aneurysm. I don't give a fuck. You could hit the dirt. I won't even talk to the cops. I'll just walk home. So he's crying. His mother runs over. What happened? I'm like, well, he wanted to use my phone, but I said no. And she goes, oh, we don't use that word in our house. We don't use the word no. Kids hear it 15 times more than yes, so we try to find other words to use. And I was like, wow, you don't use the word no, that's awesome. Can I motorboat your tits? It's your rule, not my rule, Mom, come on. Unleash those puppies, they're stunting my development. But I did it, I went to the park. I said, I'll take her to the park for an hour. My sister's like, are you serious? I was like, oh, what did I buy? What? I didn't realize, like, as a 3-year-old just tries to kill itself the whole time at the park. Because I'm the uncle. I have to bring it back in the same condition I picked it up in. It's not my kid. It can't be like a rental car. Like, a lot of that was on there when I picked it up, you know? A lot of that shit'll buff right off. If it's my kid, yeah, do whatever you want, climb as high as you want. We'll talk about gravity on the way to the emergency room. I'd look like a horrible dad, right? My kid's just hanging off. He's like, Dad! I'd be like, try to land on Jackson. Kid just falling through the air. He's like, no! Jackson's mother, we don't use that word! I don't know. Do people even have kids anymore? I don't even know. All the girls I know don't have kids. They have dogs. And they call them their kids. Oh, God, I hate these little purse dogs. They think they're tough. It's like, because they've been bred weird. Like, they got a brain of a wolf and a body of a hamster. And they're like, It's kind of this girl, she had this little purse dog. She had to tell everybody she rescued it. I rescued my dog. I rescued it. And then she'd get really quiet so people could praise her. Like, oh, you rescued your dog. I guess all heroes don't wear capes. Oh, wow. You drove down to the pound and pulled out your credit card? Have you always known you were special? Right? Rescued a dog? They always go, it's a rescue. That always bugs me too. This dog's a rescue. I'm like, no, rescue's a verb. Can't be a rescue. Now go in the kitchen and make me some eat. Gotta sit there and listen to the whole rescue story. So the dog's sitting there too. Dog's heard the story 1 trillion times. She's looking up at you. She's always like, he was chained to a pallet in a junkyard, and all he got to eat were shampoo bottle caps and dead batteries, and had to sleep in an active waffle iron. And the dog's always looking up at you like, it wasn't that bad. It was fucking awesome. It's a junkyard. There was so much shit to do. Now I live in a purse, for fuck's sake. Are you going back to the junkyard? Give me a ride there? And she takes it into every business in her purse. Like, hey. I'm like, leave it outside. It's a dog. She goes, no, I had a dog stolen. And I'm like, how do you know it wasn't just rescued from you? And I know you think you'd rescue the dog because if you don't take him home from the pound, they put him to sleep. But you only took one dog home, right? That's not what a hero does. You can't do that shit if you're a fireman. Come out of a burning apartment building just holding one chick. Look, I rescued her. Fire marshal, what happened to all the other people? I didn't really have a connection with all the other people in there. I have a tiny apartment, so I'm just gonna take care of it. I love you guys so much. This is seriously it. This is why I don't even need a girlfriend. I just like you guys. This is it. You guys are my family. These guys are my best friends. It's not so much that you're my best friends, but when I try to be funny in regular life and you're not there, it's fucking awkward, man. It's really inappropriate. That's the word everybody keeps throwing around. I'll say something and then somebody will say inappropriate. Because I think I'm trying to be funny. Like I was in Staples a little while ago. Lady was photocopying stuff, and her little boy was running around. Cute little boy. Right? Another lady comes in, looks at me, and then she looks at the little boy, and she goes, oh, is that your little guy? And I look right at the mother without missing a beat, and I go, it's possible. And I just walk up. I just continued my shopping. But you guys weren't there. So there was no laughter, just, what? What an asshole. And I didn't think it through because then we all stood in line for 3 minutes like, remember me from before? It's not a good time. Not a good time to be me, man. The world is getting very sensitive and I'm staying exactly the same. I was on a date with this girl and she's like telling me her victim story and I'm like, I didn't even ask. Like it was like before the appetizers got there. She's like, I was molested at 5. I was like, well, fuck. The pot stickers are on their way. You were molested at 5? And she's like, yeah, and again at 5:30. And I was like, whoa. You've had a long day. It's crazy. Because we're like, oh, you're so courageous or whatever. Like everybody wants to tell you their victim story now. Like I went out with this girl. God damn. She sat me down. She's like, John, I don't want you to freak out. Don't freak out. We have to know my ex-boyfriend was abusive. And I was like, oh, kill him. And then she's like, he was abusive emotionally. And I was like, we probably have a lot in common. Like because emotional abuse, like those things she said, he was just kind of a dick. Like it wasn't anything serious. He was just a dick. That's why they broke up. That's how the world works, right? So I'm like, John, feel free to check out of this conversation, right? So I'm just flying through the air, solving the world's problems, backstroke in a cloud. Like I'm not even listening to her. I'm thinking about all weird shit. She's like, then he did this, then he did this. All I'm thinking is like, pretzels will make great handcuffs for gingerbread men. How much do patents cost? Because everything she said about her ex-boyfriend was just kind of like random dickish stuff, you know? And then she goes, promise? And I go, oh, what? Ooh, what? Back to reality. Whew, what? She wanted me to promise to not try to fight this guy if we ran into him. And I'm like, I'm not a violent guy, for one. And for two, it's like, it's not an actionable offense. He was just kind of a dick, right? We don't live in a Western film. You didn't shoot my paw, right? I'm not gonna take up on the high plains and just ride my trusty steed to just find the guy who emotionally abused my girlfriend. Track him 3 days, no sleep, no food, just get to a muddy saloon town. Is there kind of a dick around here? Anybody kind of a dick? Some old prospector runs up. You must mean Mad Dog McGee. When it comes to relationships, he's as prickly as a pocket full of porcupine. What did you do to your girlfriend? He used to make her feel stupid at parties. If you don't shoot him, I will. That's emotional abuse. But before you shoot him, you should know this saloon used to be a bank. Love you guys. I got in trouble a little while ago because I said midget. I said midget. And this lady was like, it's little people, don't say that. And I was like, no, kids are little people. That's a midget. You can tell, see? See his head? You can tell by the head. Right? So I'm just fighting back. I don't give a shit, I love midgets. Why do I have to change the name? Everybody loves midgets. Nobody hates midgets. Nobody's like, oh, a whole family full of midgets moved in down the street. Now I gotta put everything on the top shelf. Midgets. I hate them. No. I say retard too. Get in trouble for that. Girl's like, that's not nice to mentally handicapped people. And I'm like, great, I don't say it to them. If they're getting their feelings hurt, they should stop eavesdropping. I'm not talking to you, retard. I'm talking to my friend. Because we did it, we already did that. We already got rid of retard, like in the early 90s. Did nothing. What did we do? We said, it's special now. We're gonna say special. And it didn't change shit. Everybody would just wait for their friend to fuck up at work, and then they go, what are you special? Are you special now? They used it just as badly. All it did was ruin the word special. Because now you can't go to your girlfriend, you're so special, can ya? The word's ruined, because she's got to be like, does he mean like the Olympics? Probably not. What? What was that you're saying? They just want to be able to tell you how to talk. Everybody's changing everything. You could be like super sensitive about everything, right? Like you can't even say crazy anymore, right? Somebody hears you, don't say crazy. We prefer the term delightfully wacky. Right? They think if they get rid of all these bad words, everybody believes is like super nice to each other forever. It's not how it works. It's no shame anymore in anything because they get rid of the words. Can't call someone stupid. Can't call them retarded, right? Can't call someone crazy. Can't fat shame. Can't call someone fat. You have to say they're well marbled, right? Can't slut shame. You got to say the girl is active in the community. But it's like, why don't we change other words that need changing, right? They shouldn't have any negative connotation, like abortion, right? A girl should be able to tell people she's getting a baby rescheduling. She goes to the doctor's like, wow, you look really well marbled. And she's like, no, I just need a baby rescheduling. He's like, well, this is your 4th baby rescheduling. What are you, delightfully wacky? She's like, no, I'm just active in the community. World it would be. Everybody's got their group, though. Everybody's got, don't say that, don't say that. It's just like some people don't. Chinese people don't give a fuck, right? They don't care about racism. They're doing too well in the world. Chinese people don't give a shit. If you don't believe me, go up to a Chinese person. Be heinous. Be horrible. Be like, oh, ching chang chong, ching chang. They're always like, that's pretty funny, John. Can I have the rent? So sad. So sad. Just relax. Anybody could be overly sensitive, right? Like, I'm funny. people use the word funny to mean everything bad all the time, right? Right? You can't say gay to mean something bad, but you can say funny to mean anything bad you want. Right? Oh, my food tastes funny. My car's making a funny noise. I'm not like, hey, those are my people. Don't use the word funny negatively. You say my food tastes funny, they'll take the food away. You can't say my food tastes gay. They'll kick you out of the restaurant. And how is your steak, madam? It's a fag. Take it back. And I think my broccoli's by. You take your car into the mechanic, my car's making a funny noise. In that case, funny means broken, right? It's negative. You can't say my car's making a gay noise. You'd be like, try to start it up. I'm so embarrassed. I'll start in a second. Big blast of glitter out the exhaust pipe. Sorry, sir, your car's gay. Another guy comes in, he says, I think my car's retarded. I'm a dump truck. Car's a retard. Sorry. Now the gay shit always clams people up. Let them get married. I can't believe that was ever even a big deal in the States. Let them get married. They're getting married for the right reasons. Straight people get married for the wrong reasons. Nobody's ever gotten married because they accidentally got Darren pregnant. Nobody's ever stayed in a toxic marriage until the pugs went off to college, you know? Lived in a gay neighborhood. I lived on Davie Street for a while. Went to a gay bar one time. I didn't go to meet fellas, but me and my buddies were walking around and we saw 3 of the hottest girls in the world go into the gay bar, right? And my buddy goes, oh, really hot girls go to gay bars so they don't get hit on. We should go in there, right? Yeah, hit on them, like exactly what they don't want, right? Smart thinking, buddy. Because then they have to fuck us because we found them. Yeah. Good idea. So we go in there, of course, we can't find these girls anywhere. We're just sitting there. So pathetic. Go into the washroom, see a little advertisement over the urinal for Viagra. It's Viagra with the rainbow flag, trying to sell Viagra to gay people. And I'm thinking, man, if you can't get an erection to a man, maybe you're just not gays. Don't run out and buy pills. Call your parents with the good news. You know what I'm saying? Some people bristle at that joke too, but yeah, parents just want to see their bloodline continue, right? So if you're gay, they get a little bit pissed off. It's a very monkey brain thing, but it exists, you know. Shit like that would happen sometimes. I could go on a date and see 2 gay guys kiss, and I'd be like, ugh. And the girl would be like, that's homophobic. And I'm like, no, it's just gross. Because men are gross. 2 guys kissing is gross on gross crime. You know what I mean? It's not hate. I love my parents, too. I don't want to see them fucking or anything like that. And they're okay with that. Your dad's never like, hey, kid, get in here. Look what I'm doing to your mom. You open the door. Oh, God, Dad, don't turn away. That's hate. I was born this way. Why does your head do that when you have sex? I don't know. I'm a bobblehead fucker. Oh, my. Ooh. Yeah, no, so women don't understand that. We have a repulsion to other dudes. It's fine. It's immature, but there's got to be that yuck there with your buddies, right? Or we'd just be fucking them all the time. The population would crash. Is that what you want? No homophobia at all? Our camping trips would never end. It's like, oh, we're here at the lake, the tent's up. I'm bored, let's fuck Dave. Dave! You've only been here for 10 minutes, you fucked me 3 times. I hate camping. Oh. And women don't understand that because you guys are beautiful. You're wonderful and you're beautiful, and it's like, you guys can hook up with each other and you're not even embarrassed about it, are you? You'll tell other people because you know it's hot. You get praised for it. Me and Sharon went down on each other and it was beautiful. Every guy's like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. You want straight guys to do that? Too many beers is... Because you know they'd be teasing each other the whole time. Like, you look so gay right now, dude. You look so good. Well, you're the one fucking me. You're probably the gay one. How is watching hockey any different than camping? Tell me that. Why does your head do that when you fuck? I don't know, my dad does it, too. It's only when I fuck. Bobblehead fuckers. Men are ugly, women are beautiful. Everything a man does is for women. From the moment he gets up, the moment he goes to sleep. Buys a car to attract her, washes himself. So everything. And I don't want to do any of that shit. That's why I masturbate. It's true, I get caught masturbating. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm beating the system. I found a loophole. Your arms reach, try it. Like guys have to masturbate too, ladies. I don't know if you knew that, but it's our reproductive cycle. You menstruate, we masturbate. It's the exact same thing. It must be done. It is better when a woman does it. It does look better. A woman just kicks back. Guy's always hunched over like a chimp. Close the door, I'm celebrating my body. Right? So you have that, but... There is a double standard, though. Like, girls can pleasure themselves or do whatever. Like, I found my ex's, she had a vibrator, and it was in her panty drawer. I found it. But yeah, I called her into the room. I was like, look what I found. What are you gonna do with that? She wasn't even embarrassed. She was like, oh, you found my friend. Maybe if you're good, we'll use it together. And then she just left the room, totally flipped the tables, because now I was embarrassed because I was holding a dick and she'd fled the scene. That's a huge double standard, because like, what if a girlfriend found your pocket pussy, right? That's the equivalent for a man. See how gross it just got in here when I said pocket pussy? I could say vibrator a million times. I say pocket pussy once, everybody's like, I need a Silkwood shower right now. I need an elephant brush. What the hell would you say if a girlfriend found your pocket pussy? She'd be like, ah! You'd be like, oh. You found my friend. Maybe if you're good, we'll use it together. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'll burn it. I'm burning it right now. Fuck off. You have nails. Fuck off. Ow. Girls, no responsibility, though. They have a vibrator. They call it a toy. That's not what you do with toys, ladies. Like, guys, remember toys, right? Remember Christmas morning, run downstairs, unwrap your G.I. Joe and pound it up your asshole, remember? Remember toys? You guys remember toys, right? It's not a toy. Just because it's plastic and it takes batteries does not make it a toy, okay? Also, batteries. How lazy are you chicks? Is this that hard? Life must have been so hard before batteries. Oh, it's so much work moving my fingers subtly. Oh, I've become winded flicking my bean. Oh, why was I born a princess? It's lazy. I wanted to get a pocket pussy. I was making a sex robot. I was gonna tape a pocket pussy to a Roomba. Because I like the chase. And a clean apartment. I went on the internet and I was like, oh, a pocket pussy. And then they said they wouldn't write anything on the box. And they didn't. UPS guy gives me the box. He's like, here you go. And I had to lie like, oh, my candles. Totally lying, right? So excited about my pocket pussy, though. Oh, took it in my room. I was excited. Open it up. Nothing in the box. I look around. There's just a note that said, who are you going to tell? so mad. I just got in my car, went down to the sex shop, I ripped one off the shelf, threw it on the counter. I'm like, don't bother wrapping it, I'm gonna fuck it in the car. No, women are wonderful too. It's just like, but in a relationship at the beginning, guys got to do everything, right? The girl's always like, I want a guy who's got the confidence to talk to me, and then you can get my phone number and call me, and pick me up in his car, and open his car door for me, and at the restaurant, he should pay, because I'm like, what the fuck do? You do anything? That's why girls live so long, their bodies are barely used, yeah? And this one girl one time, she's like, I want to be dominated in bed. I'm like, that's just more you doing nothing. It's just more her kicking back. Woo, woo. What a long day. God, it's so sexist. I can't be like, I want a girl to dominate my dishes. That's all I want. No. Had a girl do this one time to me. I didn't even know she was into this stuff, but she had like this little fantasy. She's a little rape fantasy, right? I'm not into it. I don't find it hot. I like a naked girl smiling at me. That's my weird kink. But she's like, we're naked in bed. She's like, squares off me. She's like, if you want it, you gotta come take it. And I was like, well, if I was just gonna take it, why do we have to go to dinner? I could have just waited for you to jog through the parks. I'm nice to you so I don't have to take it. You know, I was trying to indulge her, right? She's like, we get like naked in the bed, and she laces fingers with me, like, argh, right? It's horrible. It's totally unsexy. Both naked in a fucking mercy fight. That's dumb. Like, And I forgot she was like a deep tissue masseuse. Like, she had like the strongest hands in the world. And she was like, she just grabbed, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm losing this rape. I'm losing the rape. I'm freaking out. I'm like, xylophone, xylophone. She's like, we don't have a safe word. I'm like, uncle, uncle. She's like, yeah, pretend you're my uncle. I was like, I summon the last bit of masculinity I have left. Pick her up. Throw her down. I'm on top of her, right? Now she loves this. She's, ooh. I'm like, I win. And as the winner, I decide we're gonna fuck normal. Normal sex. That's it. When I got her back, we were having sex. It was going really well. She was like, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna come. And right before she did, I pulled out and I was like, don't come inside me. And she was like, what? And I was like, see how that feels? You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out, supporting. Oh, lovely.